Hey, this is GunsmithBeard back with another gun video, and it's really good to see you guys. I have been waiting to thank you all week. I've been watching the channel grow. We hit over 700 this week, and without you guys actually subbing the channel and supporting me, it's hard to do this without you, so I am very humbled and very appreciative. Also, let me thank my channel supporters, which are BROWNELLS, SWAMPFOX Optics, Shooter Innovations, and GRITR Gear. Those four companies have been supporting the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. So we're going to talk about a gun today. It might be a gun that you've either shot or you have experience with or you purchased for somebody else. And so let's take a close look at that and then come back and we'll talk about it. All right, see you in a second. All right, guys, now that you've had a chance to look at the gun of the week up close and personal, you know that it's another Kahr. And as you know, I am a pretty good advocate for Kahrs, but it does have a caveat. Like I talked about in the last Kahr video, most of these Kahrs, you have to put at least 200 rounds through them before they really become reliable, or something I would recommend for you to carry concealed or for defensive purposes. And so with Kahr, you always get these really nice box, hard case, which is really nice. And the Kahr that we're going to talk about is the smallest one, and you may have guessed it just from the up close. It is the P380. And so this is a really cool little gun. I happened to walk into a gun store and saw that they had one, and I think I paid either 100 and a quarter or 100 and a half or 150 for this little thing. And when I looked yesterday on what they're going for online, I was like, wow, that's stupid expensive. So I got this thing for like 125, 150 bucks. Can't remember exactly, but I know it was around that price point. And they're going for $500 to $600 to even $700 online. And when these things first came out, they were not that expensive. I think they were in the low to mid fours, so about 400 to 450, somewhere in there. This one is the all black version with night sights, so it was a little bit more expensive than just the white combat sights, and it's the all black. So I'll show you real quick before we proceed that there's nothing in the chamber, and I don't have a magazine in there, so I'm going to drop the slide, and have a safe firearm that we're dealing with. So there's three variants of this. The first one I think that came out was the black polymer with a stainless steel slide in the white, meaning it was just a matte stainless finish. It wasn't black, it was just this matte stainless. Then they came out with the all black, because people were like, you know, I don't really like the two-tone, why can't it just be all black? So they came out with the all black. And then later on, they came out with what they called the Black Rose, which was a custom engraved black version like this one, but custom engraved, and it had some different finishes, and it was more of a custom look. They were really pretty, if I have to say so myself, but they were really marketing towards women, which is fine because this gun is tiny. Like in my hand, so you guys can see it, I don't have big hands, and I can easily fit that in my hand. So tiny little gun. And these guns, because they are very, very similar to Glock in their mechanisms, they don't have a lot of safety features as far as like a thumb safety, a tang safety, even a magazine release safety where if you pull the magazine out, the gun won't shoot. It doesn't have any of that stuff. So it's a lot like a Glock. It has a slide lock lever on the side, and it has the firing pin safety in the slide built in, if I remember correctly. And that's it. It really doesn't have a lot of the other crap that you see on guns. It's pretty straightforward. But because of that, a lot of people, because of the size of this tiny little gun, a lot of people pocket carried this with a either leather sheath that they slid the gun into, or they had Kydex versions too that I saw. So that's a little interesting as far as should you pocket carry, or should you actually find a holster in the waistband holster and carry it that way, because it's very thin and it's very concealable. Or if this is for a woman, there's a ton of holster options for ladies, that not as much for men obviously, but women carry things differently because of their outfit and their wardrobe, and it makes sense, perfect sense. So I bought this for my wife because it doesn't weigh a lot. I think the weight on this was like 9.9 ounces without a loaded magazine in the magwell, so it doesn't weigh a ton, which is a great feature. It's very light. Now, granted, this barrel is only a 2.53 inch barrel. So a barrel that short, even in 380 ACP, which is obviously what the P380 means, is it's a 380 gun. It can be a little snappy just because it's such a short barrel and it's such a tiny package. So anytime you go really short, it can be snappy. And some ladies don't like that, but it is very concealable, and I think that's the biggest, and it's very lightweight, so it has a lot of pluses for concealed carry. And the thinness of this gun is ridiculous. So when you measure it, it's like about 750 thousandths, which is 3/4 of an inch in thickness. So I mean, you can conceal this thing all day, and twice on Sunday. So the designer of this was Justin Moon, and if you're not familiar with Justin Moon, he designed almost all the Kahr pistols for Kahr Arms. They started in like 1999, and this gun, if I'm still correct, if my data is correct, is still in production. So you can still buy this, and which is actually pretty cool. But it's still going, and it started back in '99. So it's been on the market for a while. And like I said, when it comes to cars, a lot of people buy them, and I expect this is what happened with this one. Is they buy it, they go to the range, they shoot it, put about maybe a box of 50 through it, and I'm like, oh man, I'm having problems. And it's because of that steep feed ramp on the barrels, and they are considered quote unquote premium match barrels that they put in these things. After about 200 rounds, it seems the reliability seems to go way up, and it's not as finicky feeding hollow points. Now, a lot of these guns will feed ball ammo or full metal jacket without any problems whatsoever. But the moment you put a hollow point in it, it gets kind of hung up on the feed ramp on the barrel. It doesn't want to feed correctly. But like every car I've ever had, after about 200 rounds, it goes away. And I don't know if that's a barrel break-in period like Kahr tried to say it was, or what's going on really with that. And if I had to guess, it's probably the barrel where the feed ramp kind of leads into the chambered portion of the barrel. That's probably pretty sharp. And I have taken those and I've put like a Kydex wheel on it, and I smoothed it out and kind of polished that edge, and that helped feeding. You don't obviously want to remove a whole lot of material, because then you're screwing with your head spacing, and that's terrible. But if you have a competent pistol smith that knows how to do that, then that might be a quick and cheaper way than burning 200 rounds, especially of 380 ACP, which is not cheap. So the short 9 is what a lot of guys call a 380 ACP. And I don't really want to get into, I know you guys are going to get into this in the comments. I know you guys are going to say, 380 is anemic, it's a short 9, the ballistic and penetration is terrible, go look at the FBI testing, and a lot of that is true with 380. But I don't really want to get into that. That could be a whole nother video in itself, to be honest with you, is 380 versus 9mm. But getting back to this, just like a lot of the Kahr pistols, it's a double action, it's a locking block Browning style lug, recoil lug with a passive striker block, and that's a mouthful of word salad, but that's what the design is. Like I said, it has no safety features besides a slide lock and a firing pin safety. The overall weight, again, is 9.97 ounces. The P, a lot of guys ask, what does the P stand for in P380 or P9 or whatever? And it just means polymer. Kahr kind of said, you know, we're just going to put a P in front of it because the frame itself is polymer. Let's get into the trigger, though. A lot of guys complain about the trigger on Kahrs, and the biggest reason is they're super long. In my opinion, they have a very lot of take up or pre-travel in that trigger. And again, the defense for that is it's a defensive pistol. You don't want it to be a very lightweight pull on the trigger, and having a little bit of pre-travel kind of helps you get to that wall, and you can feel the wall when you push back through all that pre-travel. But again, this pull is very long because of all that pre-travel. So you can literally see I'm having to take a lot of that out, and if you pull past that, it will break, but it doesn't break off the wall, which I don't like. When you break, you have to kind of pull, and then bang. So super long pull. It's a Kahr. Sometimes the trigger is that way. Some guys that have big fingers and they pull on the bottom of the trigger shoe, like right here instead of right here. Again, when you do that, especially with these triggers, you can pinch your finger between the frame, the trigger guard of the frame, and the trigger shoe, and so you can get your meaty fingers stuck and pinch by doing that. And the bad thing about pulling on the bottom of the trigger shoe is it's heavier, and so if you pull in the middle, which I would consider, you know, this part of the middle of the trigger shoe, if you pull there, it's about 4.1, 4.4 ounces when I did like 10 tests on the pull in the middle of the trigger shoe. So I got about 4 pounds, 4.4 at the highest, in the middle. When I pull at the bottom, because I know people that shoot that way, and they do tend to pinch their fingers and they have all kind of problems, it went up to a 5.3 pound pull. So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. I know people do it, so I'm going to give you the data. So pull in the middle is a 4.1 to 4.4. You pull in the bottom of the trigger shoe, it's a 5.3. So that's just the data. The sights, let's talk about that, because this does have the tritium sights. So these tritium sights are dovetail front and back, so you can drift these out and replace them without any problems, because as we know, tritium doesn't last forever, and depending on what company you go, it lasts less than what they say it does. Meprolite. But anyway, these tritium Trijicon sights, they have a white jacket. I'm gonna try to show you around the tritium tube, and so technically it's a 3 white dots setup during the day, and then you have the tritium tubes front and back for night. So it's a pretty good defensive setup, I think. In law enforcement, that's kind of how all our guns are. We have like a white jacket around the tritium on the front and back. Some guys have just front, which that's a discussion for another day, but it does have good night sights. You can still buy the sights if you want it not tritium. You can get just the white combat sights, I think is what they call it. And if you want night sights, you can get tritium again and replace the tritium that's in it. Let's talk about one thing I almost forgot, is there are 3 different types of magazines for this one little pistol. So it comes with, a lot of times it comes with the flush, which is a 6-round magazine. So just so you guys can see, there's nothing in the magazine, so just so you know. That's the flush, so ideal for like concealed carry, pocket carry, even no matter how you feel about it, there's going to be people that do it. Then there's another 6 rounds. This is not a 7-rounder, but even though it looks like it, it just has a pinky extension on it. So that's another 6-rounder. And you can see it has the texturing of the grip on the actual pinky extension on the base plate. So that's a 6-rounder. And they do have 7-rounders, and that's a 7-rounder. So in my opinion, I'm gonna put the gun down. Why in the world would you buy this when you can buy this? I mean, it's a fair question. Like, you still get something to rest your pinky on, and it gives you 7 rounds, an extra round, versus this, which gives you the same amount as a flush mag. It's basically a flush mag with a pinky extension. So I'm not sure why I would buy this if they gave me the option for this. And just so you guys know, it's stamped that it takes 7. And you can see why it does. It's a little bit longer than the 6, if I compare them. So you can kind of see the magazine goes down a little bit to make room for that extra round. But again, if you wanted a little bit longer magazine, not a flush mag, I would highly recommend buying the 7 round with this little base plate, because like I said, it's not bad. This is a tiny little package, but look, I can get all my fingers on the gun and get a good purchase with this little pistol. And as an added bonus, I'm going to show you kind of a comparison, which this is obviously a pistol for concealed carry I bought for my wife. I'm going to show you her other concealed carry and compare the size. So I'm going to go grab that and we'll compare the two, but I guarantee you this one is a lot smaller. So 1 second, added bonus. I'm going to go grab it out of the safe. All right, guys, I'm back. Thank you for being patient. And this is my wife's Glock 42 with a purple frame. Yes, it is custom for her. So I'm gonna show you real quick. There's nothing in it. And it's a great pistol. And according to my wife and a lot of women out there that carry a 42, it's the perfect size for them. And she has a little clip on it so she can kind of clip it into her pants, or, you know, whatever holster or apparatus she's carrying in or whatever. But look at the difference, guys. So this is a Glock 42, like I said. This is the P380, and this thing is tiny. Look at this, it's just tiny. Try it this way. Look at, I mean, yes, like I said, this one's gonna be more snappy because the barrel is shorter, but the overall size, the thickness of the slide, the overall length of the pistol, like all of it is drastically different. From a side view, let you guys see it that way. Just tiny, just tiny. So again, this is what she's been carrying, the 42. She has this one for, you know, if she wants something smaller, if she's wearing a dress, she doesn't want the weight of the 42, then she can carry the P380. Again, such a tiny gun compared to a Glock 42, but again, it's very similar. So if she's very comfortable with a Glock, going from a Glock to a Kahr is not a whole lot difference, besides mitigating some of that snappiness from the recoil with just good shooting practices. But again, just a really cool comparison between another very good concealed carry gun, especially for ladies. And to be honest, I'm just going to be completely honest, I've carried smaller guns, especially in the summer when I didn't want a big heavy gun, or I was wearing, you know, an outfit that didn't support having a bigger gun. I've gone to a smaller gun and concealed carried. It was comfortable, I was always armed, and it just made sense at the time. But this, again, is another option for you if you can find it for a really good deal. I think your investment is definitely worth it. Just go shoot it, make sure it's reliable before you carry it, like I always say. But again, wanted to put this, guys, on your radar. I got mine for a really good deal, and I really hope you have too. If you have, please share that stuff, or if you've shot this gun, your wife shot this gun, give us some feedback on this gun if you have any. As always, I'll catch you in the next video, and remember, work hard, God first. See ya.